Assalamu alaikum students. Standard 5th. Subject English. Topic number 27. The Legend of Marathon. Students, today we are going to learn a very interesting lesson. The Legend of Marathon. So students, the marathon is a sporting event. It is a running race of about 42 kilometers. So the word marathon also means a task or event that lasts a long time and requires a lot of effort and patience. Students, the first marathon race was organized at the time of the first Olympic Games, which were held in Greece. So the marathon was started in the memory of legendary Greek hero Pheidippides. Legendary means described in or based on legends. Okay, so who had carried an important message from the Battle of Marathon to Athens. So, now we are going to see the story of his famous run from Marathon to Athens. So, we did not know whether the story is historically accurate, but it has inspired many generations of sportsmen. So students, about 2500 years ago, Persia was a mighty kingdom. Their large army had landed in the bay near the town of Marathon. So their target was Athens, a city-state in Greece. So Athens had a small army compared to the Persian one. But the Athenian soldiers were very brave. They had faced the Persians before, but they needed help from the other Greek kingdoms now. So, as they needed help, this time they decided to ask help from the kingdom of Sparta. Now students, there were discussions going on that who will go to give message. They decided to send a special messenger to the neighboring kingdom of Sparta. His name was Pheidippides. Pheidippides was a young man who served as a day-long runner. So he ran to Sparta like the wind. He covered the distance of nearly 100 kilometers in a day. So you can see, where is Athens? Where is Sparta? So he reached there. He gave the message. But alas, the people of Sparta were busy with some ceremonies. They did not want to join the battle immediately. So, Pheidippides took this message back to Athens with a heavy heart, but on light feet. So students, again he ran how much kilometers? 100 kilometers within a day. So as you can see, he was running. Now, when the generals of Athens heard the cold Spartan response, they did not lose heart, means they did not lose hope. They were ready to fight on their own. The Persian army was watching Athens like a cat watches a mouse hole. So they decided to launch a surprise attack on the Persians. The Athenian generals sent their flanks round the Persian forces like speeding arrows and began to draw them in. So flanks here means army. So the Athenian generals sent their army round the Persian forces like speeding arrows and began to draw them in. Now students, the Persians were not ready for the battle. Even so, they were skilled archers. They showered arrows on the soldiers of Athens. So archers means person who shoots with a bow and arrow at the target. And showered means threw a number of things all at once at someone. So they showered arrows on the soldiers of Athens. But the arrows simply fell off their helmets and strong armors. Armor means the metal covering firmly worn to protect the body in battle. And also students, the Athenians knew their seashore well. Then students, the Persians were new to the terrain. Means a stretch of land, especially with regard to its physical features. Right? So the Persians were new to the terrain. Many of them were killed. Many more were injured. So you can see the condition of their ships. Right? So some of them were lost in the marshy areas. The brave Athenians drove back every single remaining Persian soldier back to their ships, anchored in the bay. The battle was over within a few hours. So students, marshy means waterlogged and anchored means secured firmly to the sea bottom with an anchor. The battle was over, but the Persians did not accept defeat. Right? So they saw that the entire army of Athens had rushed to the seashore, leaving the city of Athens far behind. Only the aged people, women, and children were left in the city. So the Persian now devised a new plan. The sea route to the city of Athens was much shorter than the land route. So what did the Persian decided? The Persian decided to take the sea route and pounce upon Athens from the seaside. Now students, Athenian army would take very long to travel back to Athens on foot, right? With their heavy armor and weapons. So seeing the Persians, the defenseless people in the city of Athens would think that Athens had lost the battle. And then it would be easy for the Persians to take over the city. But the Athenian generals too were good strategists, means they were good in planning. But now, when they saw the Persian fleet leave in a hurry, they understood the Persian plan. They resolved to go back to Athens as fast as possible to defend it. But it was very necessary to let the people of Athens know that they had won. Then they would not open the city gates to the Persians. They would wait for the victorious Athenian army to return. The city would be safe. So who would take this message to them now? So their message must be delivered before the Persians reach there. So students, what do you think? Who would travel faster than the Persian ships? And that too on a longer route? Who else but Pheidippides? Pheidippides had already completed a run of more than 200 kilometers just the day before. But he was a brave young man. He would do anything for his state, right? Also this time, he was to carry a happy message. So students, it was not easy for him to reach Athens sooner than the Persians did. That is why this time he left the usual safe route and chose another one that passed through cliffs and mountains but was much shorter. Pheidippides scaled the first steep cliff and picked up speed. He had to run more than 40 kilometers. It was very hot. He began to perspire, means he started losing sweat because it was very hot. There was some shady olive trees on one side of the road. But Pheidippides could not wait, right? Nor could it rest. He just ran on and on. His heart began to beat faster. He became weak with hunger and thirst. But he didn't stop. At last, he came within sight of the city gates of Athens. He was successful in his mission. He had reached before the Persians. So mission means an important assignment given to a person. So students, he was successful in his mission. The people of Athens threw open the gates to Pheidippides. What happened, Pheidippides? Do you bring good news? Or, so now one person asked, he asked, what happened? Do you bring good news or any bad news? So he said, yes, yes, joy to you. We won, we won. As soon as Pheidippides had delivered this message, he collapsed, never to rise again. He had laid down his life in the service of Athens. Collapsed means fell down suddenly. So he suddenly fell down, never to rise again. So students, the story of Pheidippides has inspired the people of Greece for many centuries. His historic run from Marathon to Athens became a legend. So students, when the Olympic Games were started in Greece, this legendary event was commemorated in the form of a sporting event, the marathon. So today marathons are arranged in many countries. So when you see one, or when you are old enough to take part in one, remember the first marathon runner. So, commemorate something somebody means to remind people of an important person or event from the past with a special action. So students, this was the story, The Legend of the Marathon.